Today, I'm going to be talking or sharing with you some information, vital information, again with you about health. And this particular topic today is something that we really do need to be educated on as professionals, especially if you work in the childcare profession. You're a childcare executive and you want everything at your facility to function properly. With the children, with the business itself, and everything just flowing and running smoothly like a well-oiled machine. But we have to be aware of this particular subject matter today in order to not only protect yourself, but also the children who are in your care. Today's topic is about staph infections. I don't know if you ever had a staph infection before, but it can compromise the immune system. It can compromise the body. It can cause a lot of issues, and I emphasize a lot of issues. And staph infections can be in a variety of different forms. It can come in a variety of ways and different forms to where it can affect your body. If you ever been food poisoned, and let me tell you people, I know what food poison is like, and it is no joke. Well, if you've ever experienced that came from a staph infection. And since we're speaking to adults on this particular broadcast, that Mrs. Porter has allowed me to be here today to share with you some vital information about staph infections, and I thank her for having the opportunity to do so, working together as a team to make sure your kids are educated properly and that your business prospers to the fullest. But staph infections, it is no joke if you've ever experienced it. But I'm going to share with some information here about what is a staph infection for the ones out there who don't know what staph is. Well, staph is the short word for Staphylococcus, okay, S. aureus or Staphylococcus aureus, but we just say staph for short. But here it talks about staph infections, and it says staph is something that is pertained to a bacteria. When bacteria enters the body, especially the staph bacteria, it can cause a lot of issues as aforementioned. But here it goes on to say, these bacteria can live harmlessly on your skin. What? Staph on my skin? Well, not only is it on your skin, on your arm or your face, it can also be in your nose and other parts of the body. But it is introduced into the body through broken skin. If you got a scrape and you don't take proper care of it, put the right type of antibiotics or antiseptic on that particular scrape. If it's minor, just that little scrape can cause a staph infection to break out inside of your body. How do staph infections spread? Well, through fomites. F-O-M-I-T-E-S. If you're not familiar what a fomite is, if you haven't ever heard of that word, well, it's a medical term, and it talks about that's related to objects that can carry bacteria such as staph, and you carry it around with you every single day. This particular fomite has a lot of great uses, but yet it's still considered a fomite. And what could that be? You're right. Your phone. Your phone is a carrier of staph if you don't clean it regularly, because you come in contact with all different type things and children throughout the day. And if you work in different professions like the healthcare field, or you go visit someone in the hospital, a loved one, to pray for them and to encourage them, or whatever your daily activity is, phones, and not only phones but also keys and doorknobs, door handles, and steering wheels in your car, and you can just go on and on and on. Fomites, that what those objects are, and they are carriers of bacteria that can enter into your body. But they spread through touch. Inside of daycare facilities, we know children are always, doing what they do. those precious little ones when it concerns at play or whenever they're being educated by you. They're, just all they touch. They touch everywhere. I mean, everywhere they touch, but whenever they're doing that, that can spread germs from one child to the next child. So that's why it's vitally important to keep the items within your daycare facility cleansed and cleaned and disinfected properly, so you don't spread a very serious bacteria to a child, because children's immune systems are constantly developing, and they don't want to. You don't want nobody in your care, none of those babies, to contract a staph infection. That can cause a lot of issues, not only to the child but also to your business. So be clean, very clean. What are the signs and symptoms of a staph infection? Folliculitis. I'm going to read some terms to you, and you can take the moment or time or opportunity to educate yourself on these terms by looking them up. Furuncle, impetigo, cellulitis, sty. That's a very familiar term when it concerns the eye. Some people say, or you may actually see it yourselves, or may have experienced a sty being on your eye. I'm not trying to rhyme, but yes, it does. It does rhyme. MRSA, MRSA. MRSA is methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. There's the word staph again, Staphylococcus aureus. That's what MRSA is, and that is a very, serious, a medical term because it relates to staph being resistant to methicillin. I mean, it's in the name. And methicillin is used to cure staph infections. So that's why you hear doctors or medical health professionals in their professional opinion and diagnosis and treatment, they would say, well, they may issue you a antibiotic such as methicillin or amoxicillin, the cillins, to help cure staph. And they, at a particular point, if the staph breakout happens again, they'll say, well, I don't want to keep prescribing you this because your body can become resistant, or the staph can become resistant, can become resistant to the methicillin, because staph is always changing, bacteria is always changing. And, they don't want your body to become resistant to that particular type of medicine that they prescribe to you, because they want your body to heal properly by not bombarding it, trying to overcome this particular staph in your body, because that can cause a lot of issues too. I can go on about that, but do your research to learn more about that. Scalded skin syndrome. Staph can cause a condition known as scalded skin syndrome. And for lack of a better, well, this is a good illustration. It's like taking hot boiling water and pouring it, and please don't do this, people. This is just an illustration. I've never done it, but this is just how it's coming across for me to share to you. And you're pouring on your arm, and your skin is scalded. And there have been situations to where people have scalded their skin. It peels, it looks bad. Staph infections can cause scalded skin syndrome, especially in newborns. It's usually newborns that are affected by scalded skin syndrome because, again, their immune system is constantly continuing to develop. And staph inside of a baby or newborn can cause a lot of, sickness and a lot of issues for that child. And lastly, wound infections, and that's self-explanatory. Staph can cause wound infections in the body. How are staph infections treated? Well, we touched bases on that with the amoxicillin, methicillin, and all of the different type of antibiotics that is prescribed that can be prescribed to clear up the staph infection. But here are some practical ways that you can put these practical this is a practical application that you can put into effect regarding how to treat a staph infection. But by no means try to treat yourself. Get to a medical professional right away when you notice that things are beginning to intensify and get beyond your control, out of your control. All right, so the steps here says you can soak the affected area in warm water by applying this warm water to a cloth, and using the cloth or towel to soak the affected skin, and then be sure to wash the soap and that item in hot water and dry it fully inside of the dryer. The next bullet point, it says how to treat a staph infection is by applying a heating pad or hot water bottle to the skin for about 20 minutes. That's to help bring it to a head, that bacteria that's inside of your system, bring it to a head, and for it to go away. Applying antiseptic ointment. There are many different type of varieties that of antiseptic that you can find that you can purchase at Walmart or different type of stores such as Walgreens or CVS. They sell a very good brand or very good brands of antiseptic when it concerns treating staph infections. The next bullet point, pain relievers such as acetaminophen. That's very good to help reduce pain, because staph can bring a lot of pain to the body. Or ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is another, over-the-counter medicine that you can take to help reduce pain. The next step and last is cover the skin with a clean dressing. Now, you want to be clean. You want to use good, safe, clean practices whenever you're dealing with staph. Again, if it gets out of control, get to a medical profession to seek the proper attention that you need in order to clear up the staph. How long does staph last? Staph can last, if you are infected or a child is infected, for up to 20 days. There are a lot of different type of opinions regarding those numbers, but yeah, it can last up to 20 days for it to clear up if you treat it at home and go through the proper steps, keeping a close watch, ensuring that things are going well. It can last up to 20 days inside of the body. Now, this is when you should call a doctor. We touched on that throughout this particular broadcast. You contact a doctor, you consult with a doctor, get to a doctor when the skin infection seems to be passing from one family member to another. In other words, that there's an outbreak. You think your child has a serious wound that might be infected. That's the next point. You consult a doctor when the sty on your eye, or wherever the sty is located, does not go away within a few days. And lastly, when you should contact a doctor is when a minor infection gets worse. So there's a culmination here regarding when you should seek medical attention regarding staph infections. So hopefully that this particular broadcast has educated you on more on staph and the different ways that you can contract staph and clear it up. And hopefully that you never have this to break out on your body, on your children's body that you're watching at your daycare facility or on your job if you're not in daycare. Hopefully that you don't ever have to come in contact or deal with staph infections. Well, until next time, it is truly a pleasure to have you watch this broadcast, and hopefully I'll see you next time to educate you more on the next topic, because we have a lot of great things in store to help your business prosper for the good. Bye-bye.